At this rare moment, Dino was as weak as a phone about to shut down, with the only hope of finding a life-saving doctor swiftly, so they took a night bus. When Dino groggily woke up, thinking he was in New Erling, he saw his lone Miss Mum and couldn't hold back his feelings. He cried and jumped into his mum's embrace. Turns out Eddie called Dino's mum instead. She stood at the door looking lost. But Dino's mum didn't blame him, knowing he just wanted to help his friend, and then Dino was hospitalized. With tubes sticking to him, they heard news from the doctor. At New Erling, there was no AIDS cure, just media hype. Yet this slim hope forged Eddie and Dino's unbreakable courage. Dino sketched the journey, aiming for its brightest stroke in his life's masterpiece. Just then, a nurse in the hallway suddenly heard an alarm going off and rushed over to check it out. There Eddie was at the door, crying his heart out in despair, and upon hearing the commotion, the doctor next door quickly came over to check. It turned out to be merely a prank by two mischievous children, but after bursting into laughter, the mood inexplicably shifted to one of sudden sorrow. And then, the nurse's comment about not being good news made them realize that Dino's time was ticking down. Next day, Dino realized opening his mouth caused severe pain, so he asked, "Am I dying?" The doctor encouraged him and said, "In history, many were dying, yet some mysteriously recovered. We refer to this situation as a miracle," the doctor joked as he came to the end of his statement. The attending physician then stormed out, scolding the nurse who let it slip because he truly hoped to cure Dino. For the following days, Eddie continued to prank Doctor after. What was truly heartwarming was that they didn't get mad or scold the boys. Instead, they happily joined in on the fun, laughing heartily. Yet, Eddie still keenly perceived a glimmer of sympathy in the doctor's eyes, a look that was truly moving. At night, lying in bed restless for this young fighter, death felt like a far-off fuzzy concept. He couldn't comprehend or accept it. Next morning, a torrential downpour swept the city. Woken up by the sound of rain, Eddie seemed to realize something and rushed barefoot to the backyard. He saw the once copper-chip mud fortress now desolate. Standing lost in the rain, it dawned on him. Death was just like those toys that once brought him joy. Once lost, they were gone forever. As days passed, Dino's health declined. Today, his mom adjusted his position for the 20th time, but he still felt uncomfortable. After Mom left, Eddie suggested pranking the next doctor. Dino nodded excitedly, their target, the old guy. Eddie skillfully lowered the doctor into the room with his crying, then stood by the window ready to enjoy the Just then, Dino's mom sensed something was off and started towards the room, but this time Dino moved much slower than usual. After checking Dino's pulse, the doctor hesitated instead of shouting, just jotting down the time and conveying his condolences to Dino's mom this time. This time, Dino really left forever. His mom sat by the bed, gently stroking his sweet face. Losing a loved one isn't a storm, it's a long, damn sadness. His mom was like that, saying no goodbye, driving home calmly. But while waiting at a red light, she saw a mother carrying her restless son walk past, and that scene instantly broke down her defenses. She could no longer contain her overwhelming grief, which flowed like a flood, and was forced to pull over by the roadside, tears streaming down uncontrollably. Eddie, too, was consumed by immense guilt and feelings of remorse. He thought that if he had tried harder, he could have found a cure for Dino. Dino's mom held him close, choking back tears and saying, "We have to be strong." Back home, Dino's mom wanted to speak, but Eddie was abruptly yanked out and scolded by her. Dino's mom hastily tried to stop, wanting to talk even for a minute. But once inside, the slim black mother unleashed some unexpected strength and pinned Eddie's mom against the wall. When she finally walked out, she didn't scold Eddie like usual, but quietly took him home with a burden of guilt. On the funeral day, Eddie came in a neat suit to bid farewell, and Dino's mom quietly left after a while. Facing a friend had just chatted with yesterday, Eddie felt a whirlwind of emotions. With 1,000 words on his mind, he didn't know how to express them, and finally he just touched Dino's tie, and those hands that had become cold. Eventually, after some unknown time, Eddie opened the door and stepped outside, seeming to hide something in his clothes. Just then, Dano's mom walked over and asked, and upon hearing it, her face lit up with joy, filling her heart with delight. It was as if she saw her son's spirit continuing on through Eddie. Then Eddie turned to leave. At that moment, Dano's mom suddenly noticed one of her shoes was missing, while over by the coffin. Dano was clutching that shoe as it floated away peacefully. Just like that silent night under the snow-studded stars, Eddie would always be there for Dano, who feared the dark and cold. At that moment, the mom noticed her son was missing a shoe and instantly remembered it, because she knew Eddie had once again taken Dano to that little river in search of the cure for life. This movie is called The Crocodile Shoes in the Journey, and it wasn't until I finished watching that I truly understood the title's meaning. The crocodile represents the toy Dano carried along, symbolizing their happy moments together. It also witnessed their adventurous quest for a cure. The barefoot symbolizes their shoes, representing their companionship. Eddie's smelly shoe helped Dano fearlessly journey through the distant loneliness, while Dano's shoe floated away, carrying their unfulfilled aspirations to distant lands. In the end, the journey was the boys' long quest for a cure. Although they seemed fruitless in their quest, the real remedy was the support they offered each other along the way. Like Dano's mom said, Eddie's presence was what kept Dano from spending his short life lost in darkness and cold. Although the film isn't based on true events, its heartfelt emotions resonate deeply with every adult. What's even more poignant is that Brad, the actor playing Eddie, has a life story more heartbreaking than Dano's in the movie. Having grown up with his grandma, who worked as a maid at a church, and with no one to govern him, he learned to smoke at 9 and was already getting into trouble with alcohol and fights by age 10.